Good evening. The old man here. November 9th, 2024. As I said last night, I'd look into when the central bank's charter was approved by Congress, and that was December 23rd of 1913. Notice I said December 23rd. A good number of Congress was already on Christmas vacation. This was passed, I understand, at a late night session where they knew they would have the votes, and they got the central bank passed. Honestly, I don't know what all was behind it as far as what led up to it. Probably big money, obviously, I would say. Pulled some strings and got the central bank charter passed. Beyond that, I'd like to talk about tonight. We dodged a bullet. No doubt about that. There is no way we could live under 4 more years of the communism and the stupidity of a Harris administration. Oh my God, that would have just been unbelievable. I just don't think, I don't think she would have even been able to serve her full 4-year term. I think this country would have come apart by that time. There's plenty of folks that are fed up with what we've gone through for the last, really, since Reagan. It's just been going downhill. It's been going downhill slow enough that most people didn't notice. But it kind of became a lot more obvious through the Obama years, some of the crazy shit they were trying to do. Like, just for example, men's and girls' bathrooms. I mean, oh my God. And this administration having men and women's sports. It's just like, let's just throw the whole thing away, you know. But again, it's all about divide. Beyond that, yes, we dodged a bullet for sure there. But now what we need to think about is getting our own house in order. Kind of been thinking about the feds for a long time, trying to, working on getting Trump elected. Now what we got to do is get rid of this woke shit in our own states. Here in Michigan, we've got a pretty good mess to clean up. Here a while ago, we got the first Democrat-led Senate in Michigan, first in 40 years, and they're already passing stupid shit. Feel-good gun laws that are more confusing than they are anything. Obviously, not getting anything done. I think a lot of the reasons we lost some of those seats, some very good people got thrown out, was just because of the fraud in our election system. Used to be we laughed about Detroit and Chicago, vote early, vote often, and the corruption in those two cities. But in the case of Michigan, it spread past those two cities, kind of like California, where you got multiple large cities that basically the corruption got rampant, and now you can't possibly get a Republican in or any common sense person in at all. It's all going to be, I got a name for them, but we'll skip that. It's going to be all the left-wing stuff. So we got to get our own house cleaned up here in Michigan. We got to work on getting new folks elected, getting these guys out of here, cleaning up and making sure that our elections are fair and honest elections. Here again, I was saying that Detroit, the corruption spread from Detroit, and now you see that same corruption in. It's Detroit, it's Grand Rapids, it's Flint, it's Saginaw, maybe even Bay City. I don't know, but it's some of the bigger cities are really making a difference, and with that corruption, this state goes solid blue, and I know the majority of Michiganders aren't blue. They're anything but blue. Okay, so we got to put a stop to that corruption. Whatever that takes, we got 2 years to work on that, which may or may not be enough time, but we need to work with that, and possibly Trump can help us with that. If nothing else, help point us in the right direction by helping us root out the corruption within our state. But I was talking about the central bank and that getting passed at the late one night, and what that's all about. Honestly, all banks, they're just here to rob you. Take your home loan for example. I don't think most people realize for the first 10 years, one payment out of 12 goes towards the principal. So in other words, in 10 years, 10 payments go towards the principal. Everything else is interest. After that, after the first 10 years, it starts to flop where more goes towards interest or more goes towards principal instead of interest. But the problem with that is they know full well the average American will move 3 times in his lifetime. So if you did happen to move, let's say you upgraded, you first 10 years, you're in your 20s, maybe mid 20s to mid 30s, and you decide to upgrade, you got a bigger family, you need a bigger house, maybe a better house, and you move and you buy a new house, and you get a new loan, you start over. For the next 10 years, only one payment in 12 goes towards the principal. Then let's say mid-30s, you're doing really good, or maybe the family dynamics change, divorce, whatever, and you buy another house. Okay, so for the next 10 years, one payment in 12 goes towards principal. Now that's criminal. That is honestly criminal, where they're not, they say the American dream is to buy a home. Really? Really? Where they are just robbing you of your wealth. I don't know what the answer is. Renting is not that fun of a game either. I've never been a renter my whole life. I've owned houses. I don't know what the answer is, other than living within your means. Maybe you buy a smaller house, you stay in that smaller house as long as you can, you make it work. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, other than if you have to have a house loan, and most of us do, other than rent, just get that, be very fiscally responsible or financially responsible, and, get that house paid down as fast as you can. If it's a 30-year loan, shoot it 15 years. Me and my first wife, we did get ours paid off. I believe it was like 15 or 16 years out of a 25-year loan. We worked at that hard, lived very conservatively. When friends were buying new cars and whatever else, and going out and loading up credit cards, and maybe going out to eat every night, or maybe not every night, but quite often they were going out to eat. We were basically staying home and eating. We weren't out partying, whatever else. But that is one answer to, even if you do have to get a home loan, then get that son of a gun paid early. The other thing, like I said, banks are crooks. Instead of borrowing from a bank when you need money, or you come on hard times or whatever, be your own bank. I've talked about prepping. Prepping's just not food type things. Prepping's also putting money away for yourself for the future. No matter what, every 10 years, we're all going to have a little bit of hard times. Whether that's really hard or kind of hard, or, well, this just kind of sucks a little bit. But we are going to have some hard times, like I said, at least every 10 years. So put some money away for that. Put some money away for that hard time. And when I say money, I don't mean the fiat dollar. Fiat dollar, like I said, that thing's dying on the vine. This is winter time, and the grape leaf is dead. It's brown, and it's about ready to fall off. That's the dollar today. When I'm talking about saving money, I'm talking about God's money, gold and silver. Um, whichever you choose or whatever you can afford, either one of those two choices is much better than the dollar. Saving in the dollar is just going to leave you broke at the end of the day. Like I talked about over the last 3 years, we probably had 30% inflation. So if you would have saved $1,000 at the end of those 3 years, that $1,000 would only buy you $700 worth of stuff that it would have bought at the beginning. So saving in dollars isn't the way to go. And I've talked to friends of mine that are into the financials, and I've watched a lot of guys on YouTube that are talking financials, and they're predicting not good times in the stock market. If you've got a 401k, I would be doing some research on what you can do with that 401k, because I'm here to tell you those stocks are not going to be in good shape here shortly. I just got the feeling this transition from Biden, let's say, to Trump looks pretty smooth right now. There wasn't no riots. I kind of expected a bit of an uprising, but there was nothing. Like I said, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. It seems like something else is coming our way. And talking to my friends and watching these guys on YouTube, I think that very possibly could be in the interim between now and January, 20th, 21st, where Trump inaugurated. I think it's very possible for them to crash the market. And you could say, well, how the heck could they possibly do that? Well, they've been bandaging it together and propping it up and making it look good for the last, definitely since 2008. Okay, we've never recovered from 2008. And last time, everybody that had money in the banks got bailed out. In other words, your federal insurance paid you off if you had money in the banks when those banks went broke. Since then, we've got the Dodd-Frank Act that says that they won't be bailed out, that they'll be bailed in, and that means your money. And if for anybody with over $200,000 in the bank, they're not getting their money back. It's basically an unsecured loan to the bank, so they're getting screwed. But even to us, if you got $1,000, $5,000 in the bank, well, not only aren't you getting anything on that $5,000, you might be limited if the bank's even open. You might be limited to $50 a day you can draw out of that bank. And what are you going to do? Run to the bank every day for $50 and try to get your $5,000 out? Oh my God, what kind of a deal is that? And then if the bank you bank at does go broke, sure, you're going to get paid by the feds. When? What if you need that money in the meantime? Okay. If you got gold and silver, you can always take that. There's somebody always out there that's going to take that and buy that silver from you, or gold from you, and you can turn around and pay your bills. So you can convert your dollars to something that's going to hold value, and then when you need it, convert it back to dollars and get rid of them dollars as fast as you can, because inflation is going to eat you up if you hold on to it for much more than a minute. So I guess I've been talking here quite a while already. I like to keep these videos around 10 minutes. I'm already at 14. We're going to call it good for tonight. Thank you guys for showing up and listening to what I have to say. I would recommend you get out there and do some research on your own as well. You're working 40 hours a week and sometimes more to get your paycheck. I would recommend that you do at least 1 or 2 hours a week, of research, and find out more about gold and silver. Just don't listen to what I have to say. There's so much information out there, it's ridiculous. I mean, I've literally in the last 4 years have got thousands of hours invested into learning about gold and silver and finances and cycles and the federal banking system and how corrupt it is, and which I never had any idea. And so wish you guys a good night. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. Bye.